What is outside the Earth's atmosphere? This question has been haunting the consciousness of mankind for many decades. Despite the rapid development of technology and science, we still know very little about space and strive to learn more and more. To this end, about 10 years ago, work began on the James Webb Space Telescope. And what science can achieve with its help will not leave anyone indifferent. Even Elon Musk. Welcome to our channel. Like, subscribe, ring the bell and share this video. Who is James Webb? The James Webb Space Telescope, or, as it is also called the next Hubble, is the orbiting red observatory, the largest space telescope with the largest mirror ever launched by mankind. The telescope was named after NASA Administrator James Webb. From 1965 to 1968, he was the lead authority on the Apollo program and was a major contributor to its success. The new James Webb Space Telescope was created as a replacement for the Hubble telescope. Hubble was launched into space in 1990. Already in the first weeks after the start of work, the obtained images showed a serious problem in the optical system of the Hubble telescope. It could not achieve the specified sharpness, and the resolution of images was much worse than expected. This defect arose as a result of an installation error. The idea for a powerful new $500 million space telescope was born in 1996. Construction was expected to begin in 2007, but delays and cost overruns prevented this. In 2005, the telescope had to be fully designed, pushing back its completion date to 2016. And only on December 25, 2012, James Webb was finally launched into space on an Ariane 5 rocket, after a lengthy testing procedure. As a result, the total cost of the project amounted to $10 billion. It took almost 30 years to complete the telescope. In addition to Northrop as the main contractor for the project, this task required the combined efforts of NASA, more than 30 colleges, firms and organizations from the United States and 14 other countries. Millions of people watched the launch of the telescope closely, and Elon Musk was one of them. Elon Musk called the Webb expedition a big event for those who did not follow the developments, and it is worth explaining why the launch of the telescope is so important. Let's start with the fact that the creation of the telescope is a joint work of three NASA organizations, the European and Canadian space agencies. Now, after 30 years of development, it is finally launched. An important target for the telescope will be ancient galaxies. Its predecessor, Hubble, can see the universe as it was 400 million years after the Big Bang. In the Planck Observatory observed cosmic microwave radiation that arose 400,000 years after the Big Bang. James has to fill in the gap and figure out what the galaxies looked like for the first 3% of cosmic history. This telescope will be like a time machine. It will allow scientists to go back to the beginning of our universe by pointing their 21-foot-high gilded mirrors at a tiny patch of sky. The telescope will look for lights that appeared from the first stars 1 billion years ago. The James Webb Space Telescope is a huge project. Elon Musk is confident that this telescope is important not only for NASA, the European and Canadian space agencies that built it, but for all of humanity, its capabilities. That's what makes the telescope such a huge event. The telescope was designed to detect even the smallest particles of light that carry information. It is able to see images that are 100 times fainter than those seen by its predecessor, the Hubble Space Telescope. There was darkness before the Big Bang. When the first stars lit up, the cosmic darkness dissipated and the formation and evolution of the world began. James Webb will try to find light from the earliest stars and galaxies at the stage of their formation. According to NASA, Webb is so sensitive that he can detect the thermal nature of a bumblebee at a distance of the moon and sees penny-sized details at a distance of about 40 kilometers to capture the faintest in infrared. The signals of the observatory's scientific instruments will have to be at a temperature close to absolute zero. To be more precise, a space telescope. James Webb requires a temperature below 50 Kelvin, which is 223.15 degrees Celsius. The telescope will be located at a critical point known as the Lagrange point. This point is located about 1.5 million kilometers from the Earth, in the opposite direction from the Sun. The balance between the gravitational forces of the Sun and the Earth can allow the telescopes to be in the same relative position, without spending a lot of energy. This will also keep him cool. To keep out the heat, Webb has to deploy sunscreens the size of a tennis court. Positioning at the Lagrange point will allow the telescope to stay in line with the Earth as it moves around the Sun, while protecting it from heat. Webb is a huge telescope in the biggest place. It reaches 20 meters in length and 7 in width. The central telescope, 6.5 meters in diameter, had to be folded to fit the giant observatory inside the booster rocket. Everything works perfectly, since people cannot observe James Webb at such a distance. The telescope is now fully deployed. NASA admits that this maneuver was extremely risky, and there are many technical problems that could jeopardize the success of the mission. The first images of Webb are not much different from those previously taken by the Hubble Space Telescope. The Hubble telescope has already given us a glimpse of them, but it's impossible to see much through the clouds of dust and gas that form stars. James Webb will see objects hundreds of times fainter than Hubble is capable of. Humanity has the opportunity to explore numerous exoplanets, and in some situations to take photographs from the atmosphere. This allows scientists to predict whether planets are habitable or not, increasing the chances of finding a second Earth. It's interesting to think about life beyond Earth, but scientists are setting the bar high for a potential habitable planet, and they haven't yet found anything that matches their expectations. What do you think about this? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.